Good evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Joy Alone here with your Thursday edition of FSU weather. Taking a live look at Doak, we can see those clouds still persisting in our area after that low pressure passes through our system with a temperature of 73 degrees and still a pretty strong breeze, so it feels quite cool outside. But you can see that all those showers that were affecting us are pretty long gone right now, but we have some backscatter here, but there will be more showers upcoming, so watch out for that. Tonight in Tallahassee, temperature will be 67 and partly cloudy, so it will be a nice night to go out, but I would bring a light jacket just in case you get a little bit chilly. And tomorrow, the conditions will stay pretty consistent with a temperature of 79 and cloudy once again. And headlines for tonight, goodbye rain and hello sunshine, but not for tomorrow. Find out the weather bird of the week, and there were tornadoes in Florida? That's pretty insane. All that and more here on FSU Weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Josh Lane.
And Nico Sapienza here with your Thursday night weather forecast. So as Joy mentioned, apparently there's been tornadoes in Florida. And how many were there exactly?
There were 34 warnings, but there's been a few of those that have been confirmed, including some F2s that we'll get to talk about later on in this show. But if you were in any of the warned areas last night, you were obviously not getting the best sleep as you were getting woken up. I know I was waking up to check the radar quite often.
Yeah, that was very interesting to see nonetheless. But as we, thankfully, here in Tallahassee, we haven't been seeing any of that. But speaking of Tallahassee, Joy, what's going on in the area?
Thank you, guys. So yeah, here in Tallahassee, as I mentioned earlier, that low pressure system is continuing to pass its way through, and we do see those clouds still lingering with a temperature of 73. And those temperatures are pretty consistent here across the Big Bend region. We can see temperatures in the high 60s to even mid 70s down at the coast, but most of the Big Bend is seeing a lot of clouds as that low pressure system continues to make its way past, and we can see that with our dew points being pretty high, 69 Tallahassee, 69 Madison, even 73 in Perry. It is quite muggy here in the Big Bend region, so make sure that you bring your umbrella just in case we have a little shower tonight. But heat index is feeling quite the same as the temperatures that we're experiencing outside, 73 in Tallahassee, so nothing to really worry about in case of being cold or being warm. And in terms of being warm, our high today was 77, but that did not even touch near our record of 93 in 1985, and we did not even get close to our record low of even 30 back in the day. And with our local radar, we can see that backscatter, as I mentioned before, but we can take a look over at I-75 with all of these storms passing with that stationary front, keeping its way in the Gulf of Mexico here. And as I mentioned that we will have a couple of showers upcoming on Friday, we can see that here, those clouds are pretty persistent, and we're going to see pop-up showers over the course of Friday. So be sure to bring your umbrella if you are going to class tomorrow. But for tonight, we should see some pretty comfortable and cool temperatures. 68 in Tallahassee, but up in Monticello and even in Thomasville, we could see the occasional shower or two. So make sure you have your umbrella there. And down by the coast, 69 Apalachicola and 69 Carabel. So it's a pretty average night here in Tallahassee in the fall, so nothing to be surprised about. And tomorrow, as I mentioned, we have those storms, but we will have mostly cloudy conditions here in the Big Bend region. But if you're up in Thomasville, you can see that sun peeking out with some sun showers. So for our day planner forecast here, in the morning, we have a slight chance of precipitation with some pretty cool temperatures, 68, that as we make our way through the day, those temperatures will start to warm up, especially as that sun starts to peek out as we go on through the day. And so if you are planning on heading to school tomorrow, I would bring a jacket. I will be a little bit chilly in the morning, but over at night, it would be a great day to go outside and hang out with your friends and enjoy the clubs, in fact. So Nico, what else do you have in store for us?
Yes, thank you, Joy. We have pretty interesting weather today, but it looks like it's going to be nice for the next few days afterwards. We are still dealing with some dreariness, though, on the beach. Only 68 in Panama City Beach because of this. 84 in Orlando, you're starting to clear out. And look at Miami, who hasn't had as much in the way of storms. It's almost 90 degrees here in Miami right now. Taking a look at our current temperatures around the state, though, you can easily see who's been affected by the clouds and the rain, because anything north of I-4, you're in the 70s right now. South of I-4, you're close to 90 degrees in much of the southern part of the state. At 91 in Miami, 90 degrees in West Palm Beach. You're dealing with pretty warm conditions down in southern Florida. That's more summer-like for them, where they haven't gotten affected. And you can see the dew points. The dew points are the main thing I noticed looking at these graphics earlier. Almost 80-degree dew points. That's like mid-July, late July, early August type dew points, and that's why we're seeing so much in the way of moisture and storms. Up here, we're dealing with a little bit lower of a dew point, but 68 is still pretty high for this time of the year. And you could see what happens when you have humid conditions. We're dealing with showers and storms. Most of it has now moved offshore, but you still have a few of them lingering across northern and central Florida. So if you have any plans to be outdoors in northern and central Florida, just make sure to check the radar before you go out. As we look at our next 72 hours, we may have some more rain tomorrow, not as much as we had the past couple days, but it looks like we could be expecting half an inch of rain anywhere north of I-4, including here in Tallahassee. South of I-4, you could be expecting closer to around an inch of rain as we head into tomorrow as the system moves a little bit to the south. The rest of today, we are dealing with a marginal risk across parts of central Florida. It was a slight risk earlier. There was actually a tornado watch that just got discontinued at 3 o'clock. After that, we downgraded to marginal, so you could still see something, but it's not going to be as widespread as last night and this morning. Around the state, though, look at Miami's temperatures the next few days. You're going to be dealing with more rain. That's why you're going to have an inch to an inch and a half here, with a higher chance of storms all the way throughout the weekend and summer-like conditions. For Tampa, you're going to dry out already starting tomorrow, and you're really going to dry out and start to cool off by Sunday, only 81 on Sunday. Orlando's only 82 by Sunday, but you're at 90 tomorrow with a summer-like day. And we may have to watch for some pop-up showers in the afternoon tomorrow, because we do still have some lingering moisture, but not as active as it's been. Jacksonville, it's not going to be quite as warm, but same thing. You're going to have to deal with some pop-up showers tomorrow with some lingering moisture, but not as much as we head into Saturday and Sunday, where it's going to be sunny. Only 77 on Sunday. That's going to be one of the coolest days so far this year. As for Pensacola, you're looking at 74 by Sunday as the front pushes through. And looking at tomorrow's forecast around the state, 79 here in Tallahassee, but warm conditions across much of the peninsula that we still have to deal with. But now I'm going to pass things off to Josh.
Thank you so much, Nico. Now, as we zoom out towards the southeast, we're seeing a variety of conditions across the area. So Miami, nice and beautiful sun. Same thing with Clemson, although ugly stadium, ew. We also have Atlanta and Tampa, also with very cloudy conditions as you look over downtown for both of those cities. So going across the area, we're seeing from Miami to 89. That's very, very hot for fall. And then we're going up to the mid-60s across the rest of the southeast with dew points across the southeast. Florida is very moist. I don't want that. But as you go across the rest of the southeast, everywhere except for Florida is actually in better dew points, especially in Little Rock at 58, Memphis also at 50, Nashville at 55. That's definitely drier, and that's what we need. Now, winds across the area, because of this low pressure system out over the Gulf, with a lot of winds coming through, we've seen Orlando and Tampa having southwesterly winds, pretty strong. Orlando, 12 miles an hour. Strongest also being Miami, also from the southwest. And we're going to be seeing those wind patterns continue to increase into tomorrow, and especially Miami, as we see those patterns, those storms start to move southward. Now, we are seeing some showers that are coming through, producing that line of tornadoes we saw, which we'll discuss in weather one. But as we get into it later, we'll get into it later on. But we also see some showers that are going to start moving its way southwards. So Miami, you'll be seeing some showers tomorrow. So keep your umbrellas in handy. Heat index, Miami. I am sorry that you're dealing with this. I know Joy's from Miami. I know I have family in Miami. It's not fun, but I'm sorry for you all. But I'm not sorry for Atlanta and Charleston, because they're having some lovely. The heat index there is just absolutely spectacular. Storm outlook. So going into today, we saw Central Florida had the strongest severe outlook and had a marginal chance. Tomorrow, nothing super severe, especially through the rest of our region. So although Miami is going to get some showers tomorrow, as we mentioned. And then Saturday, we go to Outer Banks. Shout out to Megan Bird from our meteorology classes. She was from there. But tell your family that you need to make sure that you stay in, bring an umbrella. just bear umbrella and watch out for thunderstorms tomorrow with a marginal chance for them to get severe. So we'll have some showers work its way south into the Miami, South Florida area in the next 24 hours. But as we expand on, we'll also see some showers go through Charleston and up the Outer Banks coast. And if you go north, if you expand a little bit northward, we'll see them go into New York and New England. But tonight, expect some rain in Tampa, but everywhere else it's going to be really nice. And then tomorrow, it'll just be pretty nice across the area. 93 in Miami with some showers. Everywhere else is going to be dry. And back home in Tallahassee, we're going to be in the upper 80s and low 80s. But anyhow, Joy, what's going on with the national?
It is actually not the national time. That will be upcoming soon. We are actually going to be talking about the tropics. Just because it is October does not mean that our tropics are still not brewing. So let's take a peek at what is going on. So first, we have Tropical Storm Sean. He's trying to pump his way through, but we will see over time that he will start to dissipate and weaken down into a tropical depression. And over here by the Cabo Verde Islands, we have a little low pressure system over here with a 40% chance of development within the next 7 days. And we will take a look at those spaghetti models quite shortly. So let's zoom into Sean here. So Sean, he's in the Atlantic, and it seems like he's going to turn a little bit northeast and then soon dissipate into a tropical depression. And that is because there's a lot of vertical shear that is impacting Sean, and Sean is going to be going into some pretty cool waters, but also there will be some mid to low relative humidities that will decrease. And if we take a look at this low pressure system that I mentioned, the spaghetti models are all saying that it will trend westward and even maybe a little bit more up here. So we should take a look at that. The Storm Prediction Center and the National Hurricane Center will be taking a look at those. But that storm has some pretty warm waters to go off of, so it has a pretty good chance of developing. So we will take a nice look and a nice peek at that and make sure that nothing will come for it, but it is too early to tell. So what is going on with our weather? What?
That's right, it's time for our weather. What?
So honestly, now keep it that right because that's very important. But Nico, with our weather, I heard that there was tornadoes across the peninsula.
Yeah, there definitely were. We actually had 34 tornado warnings last night. We had quite a few confirmed tornadoes, and these were nocturnal tornadoes as well, which can be very dangerous if you don't know they're coming.
Exactly, because since they're at night, you can't really see them. But anyhow, so as we saw tornadoes go across the central Florida peninsula, especially going from Hillsborough all the way up to Pinellas up to Citrus County on the west, going up to Volusia and Flagler County on the east, especially in Citrus and Marion County. They were very concentrated there, especially.
Yeah, I saw quite a few warnings in that area. We had at least 3 EF2 tornadoes actually last night. We had one in Clearwater, one in Crystal River, and then we actually had another one in Palm Coast that was reported this morning, and I don't believe that one was even warned, which isn't good.
Yeah, that's very concerning. It doesn't just mean that it's hard for us to see, but it's also even hard sometimes to detect them on radar as well. So that's one thing that we aspire to improve, both as meteorologists and just for the general public safety. But getting into severe weather ingredients, thanks to Jacob, our current weather TA, love that guy. He taught us SLIM, which is shear, lift, which is why I was lifting my hands, and stability and moisture. So what's shear?
Shear is the changing of wind direction with height. That's an important ingredient we have with the potential for tornadoes. We did have that with the low pressure that came through Florida last night for sure. So that's one of the reasons we had the tornadoes last night.
Yeah, and what about lift as well?
Lift, you have to have the lifting mechanism, and then you also have your instability, which can also be known as your CAPE, your potential energy. And if you have a high CAPE, you can be dealing with potential for severe weather, but I believe last night was more of a low CAPE and high shear environment with it being at night.
I did know there was above average CAPE in the other areas, but it wasn't as strong as the other factors. But it's going on, and then finally we had moisture, which is just mainly what's going to power your precipitation. But here's some pictures of tornado damage in Clearwater, and then we also have some tornado damage in Crystal River. Now, most importantly, let's get into tornado safety. You need to go in, like a hurricane, go inside a tier wall or window, crouch low, head down, protect your head. And if you're in an outside home, get out of it in a vehicle, get out of there, get to a strong structured building, and always stay weather aware.
Yes, definitely. You definitely need to take those preparations. You can see from those pictures what an EF2 tornado even can do. If it's stronger, it'll be worse. But now we're going to send things back off to the wall for the National with Joy.
Thank you. It is always important to be weather aware. And taking a look here in the continental United States, we have 91 in Miami, pretty toasty as Josh mentioned, but we have some pretty chilly temperatures, 43 up in Billings and 80 down in Dallas. And we can see a really strong cold frontal system here. You can see we have some pretty muggy dew points right along there, and then right behind it, 17 in Albuquerque. So they have a fire weather watch due to such dry conditions. So if you are on the west coast of the United States, make sure you're wearing chapstick. And we can see there's a lot of droughts here as well. We have a very severe drought down in Louisiana. And we're going to take a look at this Euro rainfall forecast for a stationary front, very powerful low over in the Midwest here. We can see up to 2.5 inches of rain, even 3 here in Michigan. And even looking at Minneapolis and Minnesota, we can see that 3 peaking right there. So if you are living in the Midwest, I would recommend bringing an umbrella. And that Euro rainfall forecast will continue on throughout the entire weekend. We can see those rain chances increasing, those inches falling. And even here in Florida with that stationary front that I mentioned, we will be seeing some rain, but nothing as crazy as the Midwest. And because of that stationary front and really powerful low, we will have a slight risk here in Kansas and in Nebraska. And so this slight risk can come with tornadoes, it can come with hail, and it can come with isolated tornadoes. So people there should be really aware. And a strong pressure gradient will be bringing a high wind watch over here in Kansas. Taking a look at day 2 for this storm outlook, that slight risk goes away, but as that low moves very, very slowly, we can have a marginal risk here in Iowa and even into Illinois. And moving on to day 3, whenever day 3 works, we will see with day 3 that that low will continue to move on, and we will see a little less marginal risks and some more non-severe. But down here in Florida, we will have non-severe risks as well because of all of those isolated, there we go, all of those storms that were coming with that stationary front. And as I mentioned, that will move over here, but we do have a marginal risk in North Carolina, as Josh mentioned, when those storms will move into the area. And we could see some pretty low temperatures in the east coast of Florida, but likely above temperatures in the west coast. But it doesn't really seem that way with a temperature of 36 in Denver and that wind I mentioned there in Kansas City and those showers because of that stationary front. But tomorrow should look like a typical average day here in America with pretty chill temperatures on the west coast and very warm temperatures down here in the southeast with 63 in Boston. Lovely conditions. So, Nico, please tell us what's next.
Yes, thank you, Joy. We're going to talk about our bird of the week now, which luckily these birds did not have to deal with the tornadoes that we had been seeing in Florida last night, as they are from Texas. My first thought when I saw these graphics were that they kind of look like a small flamingo, but these are not flamingos. They are called the roseate spoonbill. I believe that's how it's pronounced. They did not have to deal with the severe weather, but they get their name from their bright pink feathers, which would explain the rose part of the name, and long spoon-shaped bills. They nest in shrubs or trees, often called mangroves, laying 2 to 5 eggs. So they would have 2 to 5 babies at a time. The number of nests varies with the amount of fresh water and depth of seawater present, which is why Corpus Christi, where we're going to talk about your weather, that's a good place for them because they are on the water. Corpus Christi, it's kind of breezy here right now. It's 83 degrees. It doesn't feel much different than it does here in the summer, sometimes in the late afternoon in Florida. And it actually ended up hitting 88 degrees, which is not too far off from 90, but at least it wasn't close to your record high of 97, because that would be really, really hot and not feel nice at all. Our low was 69, which was about average, and not anywhere near the average low, or not the average, the record low of 50, which would be pretty chilly for this time of the year in southern Texas. Looking around your area where these birds are from, you're looking at pretty warm conditions, especially inland where you're not as close to the Gulf. You're dealing with temperatures almost at 90 degrees inland, which is pretty warm for this time of the year, even for southern Texas, which tends to be one of the warmest areas of the country. Closer to the coast, you're dealing with the effect of being close to the body of water, keeping you a little bit cooler, just like we see here in Florida. Another thing you can see similar to what we see here is coastal showers with an onshore flow here in parts of Texas. They seem to be dissipating, but if you were on the beach today, northeast of Corpus Christi, you may have gotten rained on briefly, lightly. Out here you have some more showers. I'm not really sure if these are going to make it to land. They look like they're starting to try to fizzle out a little bit compared to the coverage we saw earlier, but keep an eye to the sky if you're going to be going out to the beach this evening, just in case they make it there unexpectedly. we're going to be dealing with some clouds though as we head into the rest of the night. So if you're going to be trying to look at the stars or the moon, tonight might not be the night to do that out here in Corpus Christi. And your 4-day forecast out here, it's going to be pretty warm tomorrow, and then the cool front comes through, and by Sunday morning we're dealing with 60s. Monday our high is only at 78 degrees, which is pretty nice for this time of the year. But now I'm going to pass things back off to Josh.
Thank you so much, Nico. So as you're seeing across the area, we're just seeing cloudy conditions all throughout, going from Panama City all the way back into Tallahassee at the Sportsplex, and also going to the coast at St. George Island and Lake Bradford. So currently we are seeing temperatures as 73 in Tallahassee, but basically going from the high 60s to mid 70s. And then also, dew points are not as bad as the rest of Florida, thankfully, but we are seeing 72 is feeling more like Central Florida, and Dawsonville feels more like Arkansas compared to dew points that we saw in the southeast. Now, as Nico mentioned in the moon forecast, we're going to be seeing that while we do have a full moon, the conditions are going to be very poor, as it'll be cloudy all throughout the night, so not the best night. Now, if you're going to be flying out of Tallahassee, right now we have no delays, very cloudy conditions, but very, very nice and you won't have an easy time going through the airport. As we go across the rest of the country, now Denver, we are seeing that, I checked in with this delay. This one's basically air traffic. It's just runway traffic at the airport, although it shouldn't be too impactful, but it might be going up later. In Orlando, my guess is mainly because of the rain that's coming through the Orlando area tonight. So if you're flying out of MCO, factor in some extra time, and especially and it's just going to be not a great experience. So get there at least 3 hours early. Tomorrow, expect temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s, cloudy conditions all throughout. So you won't have to worry about wearing that sunscreen, but it won't be feeling that typical fall either. Now, as you see Bono here, very cute dog, I recommend walking your lovely pooches outside at 9 a.m. at the latest, so that way it's not going to be as hot as you get throughout the morning. Now, tomorrow's pool, if you're going to go to the pool, not a great day to go get a tan, but a very great day to go for a swim regardless. And same thing with the beach forecast. If you're planning to go to the beaches whatsoever, I say St. George. I like St. George and also St. Mark's as well. Beautiful day to go outside. You don't have to worry too much about sunscreen. I'll apply some anyways. After that dynamics test, I need a drink, so I'm going to probably go out tonight and celebrate. Well, getting through that test. So 80 degrees tonight, a slight wind, but nothing to worry about, and then countdown. So Halloween, my favorite holiday, is going to be 19 days. Then in 30 days will be Veterans Day, but also it's going to be the FSU Miami game, and finally we have Thanksgiving in 42 days. Now, Joy, what's going on with the rest of Tallahassee?
Thanks, Josh. I also really like Halloween. I think it's a great holiday, and I'm really excited for Thanksgiving. But right now we're going to talk about the res. So if you went to the res today, you're crazy because the weather was not the best. I mean, there was not a lot of sun, you were not getting a tan, and it was pretty cloudy, and it will still be cloudy. So even if you want to go tomorrow, I just wouldn't recommend it. And the conditions can be said the same for the rest of the Big Bend region here, except if you're down by the coast, those showers are starting to clear up just a tad, but we can see conditions 69 in Thomasville cloudy, 73 in Tallahassee cloudy, so again, that low pressure system bringing in those clouds and these muggy dew points. It is not a great day to go out to the res, not really a great day to go out hiking or adventuring, but it's a great day to go out maybe for dinner inside. That wind speed 7 miles per hour here in Tallahassee will cool us off just a tad. Those clouds are really helping us cool as well as it's blocking that sun. And we're going to see temperatures in the high 60s here in the Big Bend region tonight. And we're going to see some spotty showers up in Thomasville, Monticello, and even in Madison as that stationary front keeps producing some showers. But over here in Tallahassee, we have nothing to worry about except for a backscatter and maybe even a pop-up shower or two. So maybe bring your umbrella in your car if you want to be safe. But if you are looking to travel here on I-10 or I-75, you will see some showers. So make sure your windshield wipers are working here. But again, we will be seeing some more pop-up showers as that stationary front continues to produce more and more convection and more clouds. So again, not a good day to go outside and go swimming or even paddleboarding. So for our day here, let's take a look. 68. Really nice conditions, and as Josh said, I would walk your dog here at 68 so that hot ground doesn't burn your dog's paws. because as we make our way through the day, it will increase to a temperature of 77 by the evening with that sun starting to peek out. So maybe in the evening you can go paddleboarding if you like. And if you want to drive tomorrow, we won't really be having showers here in Tallahassee, maybe a couple, one or two, but it should be a great day for driving. Not the same on I-10 if you are traveling eastward or even southward on I-75, as that stationary front will bring more and more showers. So FSU has a soccer game tonight against Notre Dame at 7 p.m. here in Tallahassee, and it's a good thing we're not really having any showers because they are playing outdoors, but those temperatures will be really comfortable to watch those girls. So make sure you cheer them on because I will be cheering them on as well. And if you are in Atlanta, Georgia for the ITA Southeast Regional Championship, you will have some beautiful weather. That sun will be out all day. Those temperatures will feel amazing with a high of 63 on Friday and even a low of 47 on Sunday. These men are going to enjoy playing tennis. Like, they will sweat and they're going to feel so comfortable sweating. I would do the same. And FSU versus Syracuse at Doak Campbell Stadium, 12 p.m. on Saturday. Be there or be square. Those temperatures will be amazing. Once that frontal system and that low pressure passes, we will be seeing sun for days. With a temperature of 83, it is not too unbearably hot like it's been for the rest of fall. So we will have a great game. We will have great conditions for that game. And as we progress through that weekend, once that low pressure passes, we will see temperatures drop to the low and mid 50s. And on Monday, 48. We are entering fall, everybody. I am so excited. And those temperatures and those conditions will be beautiful as we make our way through the next week. That sun will be out and about. So if you really want to go to the res, I would wait for Sunday because that's where I will be. So let's finish things off at the desk.
Thanks, Joy. Oh, sorry.
You're good. Yeah, thank you, Joy. We are going to be dealing with our coolest week in a while next week, actually.
Yeah. I'm excited for it because after this stressful week, I'm definitely could use a walk.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, we have 3 days potentially, which could be in the 60s, because I'm looking at the models, and even though Wednesday might be right around 70, we have 3 days where some of the models have us either in the upper 60s or very low 70s, which are going to be our coldest 3-day stretch since last spring, really.
Yeah. Honestly, it's time because as you've heard me say this time and time before, we've just been having a very hot, very uncomfortable summer. So anything to get those cool temperatures in, let's do it.
Yes, definitely. We're going to continue to have strong cold fronts. We may have another cold front next weekend. It's a little bit far out, but we may be finally sticking with a fall pattern where we continue to get these fronts through and stop dealing with the 90s and dealing more with temperatures in the 60s and 70s with lows in 40s and 50s.
I can agree more. But anyhow, follow us at Twitter at twitter.com/FSUweather.
You can always like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSUweather.
You can watch us live on YouTube as you're doing right now at youtube.com/FSUweather.
And you can also always follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. You can send us any pictures or videos you have on there. If you have any pictures or videos of the tornadoes, we could definitely see those too. That would be pretty cool. But now we're going to leave you with one last look at your 7-day.